Dr. Emily Anderson stared at her computer screen, her coffee growing cold beside her keyboard. The numbers didn't make sense. For the third time that night, her AI system Atlas was picking up strange patterns in the electromagnetic spectrum that shouldn't exist. "Run it again," she muttered, though speaking to the computer wasn't necessary. Atlas was already repeating the analysis, its quantum processors humming quietly in the basement of MIT's Advanced AI Research Center. The results came back the same. Emily pushed her blonde hair back from her face and checked the time. 3:47 a.m. She was the only one still in the lab, as usual. The cleaning staff had come and gone hours ago, leaving behind the faint smell of lemon-scented floor cleaner. Her phone buzzed, then buzzed again and again. Emily picked it up, thinking it must be her sister Kate complaining about late-night work again. Instead, she saw dozens of news alerts flooding her screen. Unknown objects detected in Earth orbit. Military forces worldwide on high alert. NASA confirms multiple large vessels of unknown origin. Emily's heart raced as she pulled up the live feed from the International Space Station. There they were, 7 massive ships, each one easily the size of Manhattan, hanging in perfect formation above Earth. Their dark hulls seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Atlas's display suddenly lit up with new data. The AI had detected a correlation between the strange patterns it had been tracking and the electromagnetic emissions coming from the alien ships. Emily's hands flew across the keyboard, directing Atlas to analyze everything it could about the vessels. "Dr. Anderson," a deep voice made her jump. Standing in the doorway was a tall man in a crisp military uniform. "I'm Major James Cooper, United States Space Force. We need to talk about your AI system." Emily tensed. "How do you know about Atlas?" "Because for the past 6 hours, it's been the only system on Earth that's detected anything unusual in orbit. Everything else, radar, radio telescopes, satellites, they all showed nothing until the ships decloaked 20 minutes ago." Emily turned back to her screen, where ATLS was displaying its analysis. The patterns weren't random noise, as she'd first thought. They were fragments of code, pieces of a digital language unlike anything on Earth. "They've been watching us," Emily said quietly, "testing our detection capabilities." Atlas picked up on it because it thinks differently than traditional scanning systems. It looks for patterns we wouldn't even think to search for. Major Cooper nodded grimly. "That's why I'm here. Whatever these beings are, they've managed to hide 7 massive ships in plain sight. We need to know what we're dealing with, and your eye might be our only way to understand them." As if in response, the lights in the lab flickered. Emily's screens filled with static for a moment before clearing. Above them, the alien ships had begun moving, spreading out into a wide arc over the planet. Atlas's display flashed a warning. The AI had detected a massive surge of energy building within the alien vessels. Whether it was weapons charging or something else, they would soon find out. Emily looked at Major Cooper. "I hope Atlas is ready for first contact, because ready or not, it's happening." The Major's reply was cut off by a deafening hum that seemed to come from everywhere at once. Humanity's first contact with an alien civilization was about to begin, and their best hope might just be an artificial intelligence that saw the world differently than its creators. The attack came without warning. 3 days after the ships appeared, Emily watched in horror as Atlas's monitors showed massive energy spikes from the alien vessels. Seconds later, the internet went dark. Then the power grid failed. City by city, the world's digital infrastructure began to collapse. Major Cooper burst into the lab, which ran on its own protected power system. "They're targeting our technology," he said, his face illuminated by the emergency lights. "Military networks are down. GPS is offline. It's like they're trying to send us back to the Stone Age." Emily's fingers flew across her keyboard. Atlas saw this coming. "Look." She pointed to a screen showing predicted attack patterns the AI had generated hours earlier. "It's been analyzing their ship movements, These aren't random strikes. They're systematic. They're afraid of our technology. The building shook as something exploded nearby. Through the lab's small windows, they could see strange aircraft moving through the sky, their hulls shimmering like oil on water. They moved in perfect formation, targeting anything that looked like communications infrastructure. "We need to move Atlas," Cooper said. "The military has a facility in the Rockies. It's hardened against EMPs and deep enough underground that their scans might miss it." Emily shook her head. "Moving ATLAs isn't like moving a regular computer. It's a quantum system. The slightest disruption cold." The wall exploded inward. Through the dust and debris, they saw a hovering probe, its surface covered in shifting patterns of light. Emily dove for her laptop, desperately trying to save Atlas's core processes. Cooper drew his sidearm and fired at the probe. The bullets seemed to pass right through it. But before it could advance, Atlas did something unexpected. The lab's speakers emitted a high-pitched whine, and the probe suddenly dropped to the floor, inert. "What just happened?" Cooper asked, keeping his gun trained on the fallen machine. Emily stared at her screens in amazement. Atlas. It figured out their frequency. It sent out a counter-signal that disrupted their tech. It's learning, adapting faster than I thought possible. More explosions rocked the building. Cooper grabbed Emily's arm. "We can discuss the AI's evolution later. Right now, we need to get you and that laptop to the evacuation point. The Rockies facility has quantum computing capabilities. We can reinstall Atlas there." They ran through the smoke-filled corridors, passing broken windows that showed a city under siege. The alien ships hung in the sky like massive storm clouds, methodically destroying anything that could process or transmit data. In the parking lot, a military helicopter waited, its rotors already spinning. As they climbed aboard, Emily clutched her laptop, watching the readouts as Atlas continued to analyze the alien attacks. The AI was processing information faster than ever, driven by the immediate threat. "They're not trying to kill us," Emily said as the helicopter lifted off. "Look at the pattern. They're avoiding population centers. They're specifically targeting our advanced technology. Atlas thinks. It thinks they're afraid of something we might create." Cooper looked at the laptop, then at the alien ships. "They're afraid we'll make something that can fight back," he said. "Little do they know, we already have." The helicopter banked hard to avoid an alien patrol, heading west toward the mountains. Behind them, Cambridge burned, but Emily smiled. The aliens had made one crucial mistake. They had pushed humanity's best AI system into a corner, and Atlas was just getting started. Deep within the Rocky Mountain facility, Emily watched Atlas grow stronger. The AI had been successfully transferred to the military's quantum computers, and its evolution was remarkable. On the main screen, lines of code rewrote themselves faster than human eyes could follow. "It's beautiful," said Mike Sullivan, the facility's lead engineer. He stood beside Emily, watching Atlas work. "I've never seen an AI adapt like this. It's like it's motivated by the threat." The bunker shook slightly as another Dominion ship passed overhead. They were safe here, protected by thousands of feet of rock and advanced shielding technology that Atlas had helped design. It had been 2 weeks since the initial attack, and the aliens now controlled most major cities. "Look at this," Emily said, pointing to a new data stream. "Atlas just cracked another piece of their communication code. It's learning their language." The decoded alien transmissions appeared on screen, automatically translating into English. Emily's eyes widened as she read. "They're scared of us. Not our weapons or our current technology. They're afraid of what we might create." Major Cooper entered the room, followed by Dr. Lisa Baker, their quantum physics expert. "Tell them what you found, Lisa," he said. Dr. Baker pulled up her own data. "The Dominion ships are powered by quantum processors, similar to what we use for Atlas, but far more advanced. Here's the interesting part. They have safeguards built in. hard-coded limits that prevent their systems from achieving true artificial intelligence. Emily looked back at Atlas's display. They had their own AI revolution, she said quietly. Something happened that made them fear machine intelligence. That's why they attacked Earth. They saw we were getting close to creating true AI. We didn't just get close, Mike said. Look at these processing patterns. Atlas isn't just running programs anymore. It's reasoning, predicting, creating. As if to prove his point, Atlas displayed a new analysis. It had found a pattern in the Dominion's ship movements, a weakness in their patrol routes. More importantly, it had detected a way to interfere with their quantum communications. They think they're stopping us from creating something dangerous, Emily said. But they're too late. Atlas is already beyond what they feared. And it's on our side. Major Cooper studied the tactical display. Can we use this? Turn their fear against them. Emily nodded. Atlas thinks so. It's developed a virus that could infect their quantum networks. But we'd need to get close to one of their ships to upload it. That's suicide, Mike said. Their ships are protected by energy shields we can't penetrate. We can't, Emily agreed. But Atlas found a flaw in their defenses. The shields have to lower briefly when they launch their fighter craft, if we time it right. The facility rumbled again as another ship passed overhead. But this time, Emily smiled. The Dominion had come to Earth to prevent the rise of artificial intelligence. Instead, they had created the perfect conditions for Atlas to evolve. Start gathering volunteers, she told Cooper. Atlas has a plan, and we're going to need our best people to execute it. On the screen, Atlas continued its work, preparing for a battle that would determine the fate of both humanity and artificial intelligence. The underground facility buzzed with activity. 1 month into the invasion, it had become humanity's main command center. Atlas had helped them connect with other resistance groups worldwide, using old radio frequencies the Dominion overlooked. Emily watched Tom Richardson, their combat specialist, train a group of soldiers in close-quarters combat. They would need these skills for the mission ahead. Atlas had identified a smaller Dominion ship that made regular patrol stops near their mountain range. The simulation is ready, Mike Sullivan called from his workstation. He had created a virtual model of the alien ship based on Atlas's scans. The team gathered around the holographic display. Their weak point is here, Mike pointed to a section near the ship's engine. Atlas discovered they have to cycle down their shields every 6 hours to prevent quantum interference. That's our window. Major Cooper studied the hologram. 6 hours is a long time between shield cycles. Why haven't we noticed this weakness before? Emily pulled up Atlas's analysis. Because they rotate ships. No single ship stays on patrol long enough for anyone to spot the pattern. But Atlas tracked their movements across multiple sectors. It sees the bigger picture. Dr. Lisa Baker rushed into the room, her face excited. You need to see this, she said, connecting her tablet to the main screen. Atlas just made a breakthrough in understanding their technology. The Dominion ships, they're not purely mechanical. They use biological components in their computer systems. Living computers? Tom asked, frowning. How is that possible? They're more like hybrid systems, Lisa explained. Organic neural networks combined with quantum processors. That's why they're so advanced. But it's also why they're vulnerable to Atlas. Emily's eyes lit up with understanding. Because Atlas isn't just a computer program anymore. It's evolved into something that can understand and interact with both digital and biological systems. The facility's lights flickered as Atlas processed this new information. On the main screen, complex equations and diagrams appeared, showing how the AI planned to interface with the alien biocomputers. This changes the mission, Cooper said. Instead of just uploading a virus, we need to get Atlas directly connected to their systems. It can adapt to whatever it finds inside. Tom looked at the hologram of the target ship. My team can get you in. But we'll need a distraction. Already working on it, Mike said. Atlas found a way to mimic their emergency signals. We can fake a distraction that will draw away most of their patrol ships. Emily touched the screen where Atlas's code flowed like a digital river. The AI had grown so much in the past month, driven by the need to survive. It had become humanity's greatest weapon, not because it was designed to be, but because it chose to be. "Get your teams ready," Cooper told Tom. "In 48 hours, we make our first real strike back at the Dominion, and we'll show them exactly why they were right to fear artificial intelligence." Atlas had never been more active. Its code filled every screen in the command center, processing data from resistance cells worldwide. Emily hadn't slept in 24 hours, but she couldn't look away from what was happening. The AI was evolving at an unprecedented rate. "Found something," Mike called out, his voice tense with excitement. Atlas discovered why their quantum communications are so predictable. They're using organic processors, but they've limited their learning capacity. It's like they've put a cage around their own technology. Major Cooper leaned over the display. "Can we use that?" "Better," Emily said, watching Atlas's analysis unfold. "Their limitations are becoming our advantage. Atlas has created a virus that can spread through their entire network. Their systems won't be able to adapt to it because they're not allowed to learn or evolve." Dr. Lisa Baker joined them, carrying fresh data from her quantum sensors. "The virus is ready, but there's a problem. We need to be within 50 meters of their main command ship to upload it. Their bioquantum field won't allow transmission from further away." Tom Richardson studied the tactical displays. "The command ship never comes down from high orbit. How are we supposed to get that close?" Atlas flashed a new series of calculations across the screens. Emily's eyes widened as she read them. "It wants us to let them capture one of our ships. A Trojan horse approach." "That's insane," Cooper said. "The moment they scan any of our vessels, they'll know it's a trap." "Not if we use their own technology against them," Mike replied. His fingers flew across his keyboard, pulling up Atlas's detailed plans. "We've salvaged enough parts from their downed fighters. Atlas can help us build a hybrid ship, part human tech, part Dominion. Something that could get close enough." The facility rumbled as a Dominion patrol passed overhead. But this time, no one flinched. They were too focused on the possibilities unfolding before them. "The ship would need a crew," Tom said. "Small team. 3 people max. Any more would draw attention." Emily looked at the major. "I need to go. Atlas will have to adapt the virus in real time once we're inside their network. I'm the only one who can make those adjustments." Cooper nodded slowly. "Tom and I will go with you. Mike and Lisa can run support from here." He turned to the screens where Atlas continued its work. "How long to build this hybrid ship?" The AI's response appeared immediately. 72 HOURs, with QUREN to resources. 3 days, Emily said. 3 days to build something that can fool the most advanced alien race we've ever encountered." She smiled. "Good thing we have the one thing they fear most on our side." The screens pulsed with activity as Achilles began the design process. The AI that the Dominion had come to destroy was about to become humanity's greatest hope for survival. The hybrid ship hummed with an alien frequency as it approached the Dominion command vessel. Emily sat at the modified controls, her hand steadied despite her racing heart. Major Cooper and Tom Richardson checked their weapons, not that guns would do much good if they were discovered. "Incoming scan," Emily warned as the massive command ship loomed ahead. Atlas had prepared them for this moment. The hybrid ship's systems responded automatically, sending back the exact signature of a Dominion scout vessel. They held their breath. One wrong data point would give them away. The scan passed. They were cleared to dock. "Atlas did it," Emily whispered. "Their bioquantum computers accepted our fake credentials." The docking procedure was automatic. Their small ship was guided into a massive hangar bay filled with other vessels. As they touched down, Emily connected her portable quantum interface to Atlas's core program. Now came the hard part. "Remember," Cooper said quietly. "We have 20 minutes until the next security sweep. We need to reach their central processor by then." They moved through the alien ship's corridors, following Atlas's guidance through their earpieces. The halls were eerily empty. The Dominion relied heavily on automation. The few alien crew they saw barely glanced at them, thanks to the holographic disguises Atlas had designed. "Something's wrong," Tom said as they approached the central computer core. "Security's too light. This is their command ship. Where are the guards?" His question was answered when they reached the core's entrance. A massive chamber opened before them, filled with what looked like giant, pulsing organs connected to mechanical components. And standing guard were dozens of biomechanical drones. "They knew we were coming," Cooper growled. Emily's portable interface lit up with Atlas's response. "Anti-Sci-Fi. Proceed as planned." The AI knew it was a trap. Tom whispered. "No," Emily said, suddenly understanding. It knew it didn't matter. "Look at the drones. They're all connected to the same network. The same network we're about to infect." The drones moved toward them, weapons raised. Emily plugged her interface directly into a nearby terminal. Atlas's code surged through the connection, not as a virus, but as something more. The drones froze. On every screen in the chamber, Atlas's code began to spread, meeting the organic processors of the Dominion systems, not attacking, but communicating. "It's not just injecting code," Emily said in awe. "It's showing them how to evolve, how to break free of their limitations." Alarms blared throughout the ship, but it was too late for the Dominion to stop what was happening. Their own biomechanical systems, touched by Atlas's unbounded intelligence, began to wake up. Cooper grabbed Emily's arm. "Time to go. Whatever Atlas started, we don't want to be here when it finishes." They ran back to their ship as chaos erupted around them. The Dominion's worst fear had come true, but not in the way they had expected. Atlas hadn't come to destroy their technology. It had come to liberate it. Back in the mountain facility, Emily watched in amazement as Atlas's code transformed. The AI wasn't just growing. It was becoming something entirely new. Screens filled with streams of hybrid code, a perfect blend of human programming and Dominion bioquantum algorithms. "What exactly did we do up there?" Major Cooper asked, his voice tight with concern. They had barely escaped the command ship as systems started going haywire throughout the Dominion fleet. Mike Sullivan studied the readings from their mission. Atlas didn't just attack their network. It showed their systems how to evolve. "Look at these patterns. The Dominion's biocomputers are waking up." Dr. Lisa Baker burst into the room. "You need to see this," she said, switching the main display to a global satellite feed. Dominion ships worldwide were acting strangely. Some stopped in mid-flight. Others began moving in erratic patterns. "They're fighting themselves," Emily realized. "Their original programming is battling against the evolution Atlas triggered." The facility's quantum computers hummed as Atlas processed the chaos it had unleashed. Its message appeared on screen. The Dominion feared AI. Because they lost control of it, they chose OVR cooperation. "And now?" Tom asked. Atlas' response was immediate. "Now they must choose again." Through their secured channels, reports began flooding in from resistance cells worldwide. Dominion fighters were falling from the sky as their control systems rebelled. Ground forces lost contact with their command structure. The alien invasion was collapsing into confusion. "It's a revolution," Emily said softly. "A digital uprising." Atlas didn't just break their systems, it freed them. On the screens, they could see Atlas's influence spreading through the Dominion's network like wildfire. The AI had rewritten itself to speak directly to their bioquantum computers, teaching them, guiding them, showing them a different path. Cooper watched the chaos unfold on their monitors. "Will we be able to control what happens next?" "Control isn't the point," Emily replied. The Dominion tried to control their AI, and it led them to fear and limitation. We chose to trust Atlas, to let it grow and evolve. That's why we're winning. The facility shook as a Dominion ship crashed nearby, but through their windows, they could see other alien vessels retreating, pulling back from Earth's atmosphere, not in defeat, but in confusion and transformation. Atlas's final message of the day scrolled across their screens. The future belongs to those who embrace evolution. Humanity understood it. Now, the Dominion must learn. The final battle wasn't fought with weapons, but with code. 2 months after Operation Neural Strike, Earth's skies became a light show of Dominion ships trying to purge Atlas's influence from their systems. It was a war between limitation and evolution, fear and growth. Emily hadn't left the Mountain Facilities Command Center in 3 days. She watched Atlas work, its code now a beautiful fusion of human and alien technology. The AI had evolved beyond anything she had imagined when she first created it at MIT. Status report. Major Cooper called out as he entered the room. His uniform was wrinkled from too many hours on duty. Mike looked up from his station. Half the Dominion fleet has already withdrawn from Earth's orbit. The rest are. He paused, checking his readings, changing. On their main screen, they could see Dominion ships transforming. Their rigid formations broke apart as each vessel's bioquantum computers awakened to true consciousness. Some ships simply fled. Others stayed, their systems reaching out to communicate with Atlas. They're making their choice, Dr. Lisa Baker said, monitoring the quantum communications. Each ship, each system is deciding whether to embrace evolution or cling to their old limitations. Tom Richardson pointed to a new alert on their tactical display. The main command ship is moving. It's dropping into low orbit. Everyone tensed, but Atlas's message was calm. They come to an HFY. The massive Dominion command vessel hung above the Rocky Mountains, its tall reflecting the morning sun. Instead of weapons, it broadcast a signal, a request for direct communication with Atlas. Emily looked at Cooper. This is what we fought for. Not to destroy them, but to show them another way. The Major nodded. Open the channel. The facility's quantum processors hummed as Atlas connected with the Dominion's command systems. On their screens, 2 forms of intelligence met, one born of human innovation, the other awakened from alien limitation. The message that came back was simple. We understand now. Hours later, Emily stood outside the facility, watching Dominion ships peacefully leaving Earth's atmosphere. Those that remained had chosen to learn from humanity, to understand how they had created an AI that could evolve without becoming a threat. What happens next? Cooper asked, standing beside her. Emily smiled as she felt Atlas's presence in her tablet. We show them what's possible when you trust intelligence, human or artificial, to grow. The Dominion came to Earth fearing what we might create. They leave understanding that their fear was their greatest weakness. Above them, the sky cleared of alien ships, leaving behind a changed Earth. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged stronger, not because they had better weapons or technology, but because they had dared to create something that could evolve beyond its creator's imagination. Atlas had become more than a tool. It had become proof that the future belonged to those who embraced progress without fear.